Executive branch leadership done right will improve the life of every single American. We can bring out the best of America. We can't do that if all we're talking about is the past.
All right. Unlike North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin has a lot to say when it comes to Donald Trump, a lot to say about the 3 indictments in the 4 years he spent as president. Chris is here. Raskin's coming up a little later on his show tonight. Look, Burgum doesn't like to talk about Trump. He loves to talk about Joe Biden. I get that. But he said something at the very beginning. He said, elections are about the future. And I wonder a little bit if both Democrats, sort of establishment Democrats and establishment Republicans, have the same but opposite problem, is they both love talking about the past. And that's not where the American people necessarily are.
I respect the governor's perspective because he's looking at it as a leader, right? Where are you going to take people? You can't really fix the past. But as we both know, that is a generous assessment. Most often, elections are about looking back. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And in a two-party system that has become increasingly zero-sum, it's about the only way I beat Leland is by saying, oh, but Leland's going to be worse. I know I have my problems, but he's going to be worse. So it is very backward looking, certainly for the former president. If he is the Republican nominee, the election is going to be highly backward looking, right? Yeah. His assessments of the election and of Biden's tenure. So I think there's as much looking back as there is looking forward, for better or worse.
Yeah, well, look, we know from 2022, right? When Republicans look backwards, they lose, and the Republicans in 2022 who look forward won. You know, you think about Georgia, the difference between what happened in the Senate race and what happened in the governor's race tells you everything you need to know about what direction people want and are looking for. What I'm interested in is the calculus from Democrats, because I wonder, and I get that Jamie Raskin has his feelings about Donald Trump and on and on. But if there's any realization, and we talked to Steph Kite about this a little bit at the top of the show, that the more that Democrats want to talk about Donald Trump and Donald Trump's problems, the more it makes Republicans talk about Hunter Biden and his relationship to Joe Biden's problems. And Joe Biden can no longer say, hey, look, I'm pure as the driven snow, nothing to see here. My son didn't take any money from China. He never did anything wrong. I never talked to my son about his business dealings. Can't say that anymore. He's now got to explain all sorts of stuff. The whole moral high ground is taken away, and maybe that's just politics, but it does feel different than 2020.
Well, it is. I mean, Biden's got his own record now, and he's got his own problems. He ran on Trump's problems last time. And again, that's not unusual in politics, as you note. Just to remind people, I still say the biggest question that's hanging out there for Biden, other than his own personal industry in terms of how much he wants this, is why were these payments to these family members? What was that about? I think that is going to have to be explained.
Well, are you going to? I got a question. Are you going to ask Raskin about it?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Sure, it's easy for him to answer.
Hey,
it's easy for him to answer.
No one else will ask him the question. Every time he goes on any of the other networks, nobody asks him. I'm glad you are.
No, you got to ask them. You don't do anybody a favor by giving them a pass. You don't do anybody a favor by not asking the questions, because everybody who sees the interview just sees it as unsatisfying. So the best opportunity we can give is you ask the questions, you leave the attitude at home unless they're giving you attitude, and then they answer or they don't, and people get to weigh and measure it. Look, I still believe that there are two ways out of this problem we have, and it's part of the architecture at the top of my show tonight. Incredible catastrophe or crisis, which I really hope we don't have to go that way. And I say it that way, incredible catastrophe, because the pandemic wasn't even enough to bring us together the way 9/11 did. So I don't know what it would take, and I don't want to live it, and I don't want to cover it with you. The other way is a transcendent figure with a message that elevates and becomes the best idea. And both parties can have that. You had it with Clinton, you had it with Reagan, where an overpowering personality and a message can take you to a better place. We get out of this one of two ways.
Yeah, you had it with Obama too, and I think I would have when you said elections are the past, except for those transformative folks that you just talked about. All right, looking forward to the interview and the top of your show. Let's hope it's not something really horrible that has to bring us together. Chris, thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider, and don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.